And how they feel about Ripple, XRP. Plus, we're going to talk about the current Bitcoin situation, what's happening. And we're going to be talking about PPI and what that means, holidays, all kinds of stuff. I'm Wendy. I talk everything crypto every single day. Welcome back to the show. Subscribe, set alerts, drop me a comment because I read most of them. Good morning to TikTok. Good morning to Rumble, to Twitch, to YouTube, to X. But most importantly, my YouTube babes, because you guys show up for me every single day. Good morning to Lawrence. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. To Mr. Dale, to Mr. R, to Gumby, to Mr. Mike, Mr. Legend, Mr. Didi, Gorgeous Alexandra, and yeah, Mr. R. Yeah. I'm always up at 4 a.m., Lawrence. That's just how it works over here. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what's happening. And I think, too, the Doge Spot ETF went live. So that's exciting stuff happening. It's the end of the year, Q4 2025. This year really didn't go as expected for most of us in crypto, right? Am I right? Crazy. Yeah, I know. But anyways, we're here. We're just doing what we're supposed to do. We're here. We're chatting. We're talking about crypto, and I'm happy to be here. It's going to be a bit of a short stream today because I got to do something at 11. In addition to that, my kid is home, and I found out I hired a new babysitter. The babysitter is a Sega Genesis, because you can get the little consoles now that have like 20 or 30 games loaded in. And I forgot that I had bought one during the panorama, but she was a little bit too young for that. But now she's perfect age. So I had her sitting in front of there for like 10, 15 minutes, just kind of playing, entertaining herself. It worked well. She did pretty good at Sonic, but she said I was better, which yes, I know. I spent multiple hours playing that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the news and see what's happening. So our first story on the toolkit. First story on the docket. This comes from Mr. Nate G. And this looks like it is a little bit of a quote here. So Franklin Templeton says XRP, quote, plays a foundational role in global settlement infrastructure. We're going to talk about that in a second because I've got some thoughts on that, and not THOTS thoughts, real thoughts, because I'm not just a bimbo on the internet. So we do know that Franklin Templeton's XRP ETF went live on NYSE ARCA yesterday. The ticker is XRPZ. I commented on one of their posts. This reminds me of Easy XRP or XRP Easy, something like that. I don't know. It could be my dyslexia. It could be mental illness. We don't know. We're just here. But Franklin's head of ETF product and capital markets, David Mann, with two N's, says XRP is foundational to global settlement infrastructure. Roger Beston, head of digital assets at Franklin, said XRP adds a key incentive layer for decentralized networks. He said that within a diversified digital portfolio, XRP acts as a core asset. Bastion, I don't think it's spelled that way, or pronounced that way, but I wanted to do it because I'm feeling it. Noted that the blockchain innovation is driving fast-growing businesses, and tokens like XRP help boost decentralized networks and align with stakeholder interests. I have a comment there. XRP is not really decentralized. It's never really been decentralized. If you're looking for something a little bit more decentralized, you could look at like Solana or hedera or Ethereum. Ethereum's like the OG. Now, what XRP does do is that XRP is a great competitor in traditional finance. They will eventually become their own bank. They will eventually kind of rival Coinbase, because Coinbase is going to become a massive financial entity in the in the traditional world. And I also saw something really interesting on X. I forgot who had posted it or what. Shout out to Altcoin Alpha for becoming an O Army member. Love to see it. But I saw somebody post something pretty interesting about crypto exchanges. Shout out to Sparkwater. So crypto exchanges, they basically said that crypto exchanges are DOA soon. And I do agree with that. Crypto exchanges will eventually go away. They're not, because banks are going to be integrating all of this stuff. Crypto exchanges, they're great. They're a great on-ramp tool, but a lot of crypto exchanges, unless they become banks and offer FDIC insurance or comparable products and services, like the banks do, there's really no need for them. Yes, you can trade on them and whatnot, but again, that whole FDIC insurance is going to be very important moving forward, because realistically, when you think about it, you can simply you can use a DEX to trade. DEXs are actually a lot better to trade, primarily because you do get to, there's Verm. Verm plays bass guitar, right? Is that what you said, Verm? I don't remember. I think something like that. But okay, let me cook. So DEXs are a lot better to trade on because you actually get to hold your keys, which that's incredibly important. The reason why it's important to hold your keys is because that's your money. The whole reason why we Bitcoin and crypto is so that we have complete control of our money. I don't know about you guys, but I like to be in control of my assets. I like to be in control of the choice of what I can and can't do. He does. Yeah. But with that being said, yeah, if you want to see my toes, $1 million in Bitcoin. But with that being said, you can just use a DEX. I mean, it's going to be still pretty hard for most average people to use DEXs because, again, like accessing your cold wallet and connecting and your mom.com, all that stuff, nobody really wants to do that unless us degenerates, okay? Us type of degenerates. But that's a whole nother topic, okay? So unless crypto exchanges are able to actually compete with the banks, there's really no need for them. There's not. And that's not a bad thing, which is why you see Coinbase expanding like crazy. Thank you, Lawrence. Expanding like crazy and basically what Coinbase is doing is they're playing like the art of war. Is they're absorbing all of these companies. And when you absorb companies, you obtain their licenses and all kinds of stuff. And it's kind of the same process. Like I've been looking to buy a bar in Los Angeles County shout out to Mr. Mixane. But I've been looking to buy a bar in Los Angeles County for a long time or to start one. Why? Because I can host my events there and I love dive bars. It's what I do. I have an old jukebox, all kinds of stuff. The Music Man, okay? So primarily in Los Angeles, to start your own bar and deal with all the licensing is a lot more expensive than to buy an existing bar. And that's what Coinbase is doing. And that's what Ripple has done as well. Ripple has acquired Hidden Road and all these traditional financial companies. So Ripple will eventually become their own bank, and Coinbase is going to become its own bank too. And the other crypto exchanges that are not doing that, they will simply get left behind because that's just how it is. There are some people that will still use crypto exchanges, but I'm telling you right now, like even when it's just lots of people are already people look at crypto exchanges like banks, to where when you sign up to one, you generally don't want to go to a different bank, right? So that's kind of my thought process on that. Ripple will rival the industry in that sense. But Ripple doesn't really, or XRP in their ecosystem, they don't have a lot of DeFi yet. They will be building DeFi. That's why they've got their stable coin and all this other stuff. So that's good, positive, fantastic. We absolutely love it. Moving forward. But we're not there yet, okay? Not there yet. So we got to give flowers where flowers due. Next story. Healthcare. This is my get down because I used to be a low-level healthcare worker. So XRP Healthcare LLC expands first HIPAA grade, which HIPAA is a big scam. Me and my sister were actually talking about that. She's like, I'm just going to call her a doctor for the sake of the show because she is basically. But XRP Healthcare LLC expands first HIPAA grade open source XRPH wallet into U.S. and East African pharmacy markets. Ooh, pharmacy, my get down too. Let's read what they got to say here. So they're rolling out new HIPAA grade open source XRPH wallet. It's the first pharmaceutical and healthcare payments platform to build on the XRPL. Wallet supports real-time payments in XRP, XRPH, and RLUSD. As somebody who's worked in the industry so extensively, the only thing I can actually see working is RLUSD. This is the thing. When you go into a healthcare facility, you don't go into a healthcare facility because you feel good. You feel bad. So nobody's going to want to deal with the extra steps of crypto. RLUSD, why not? No one's going to want to spend their XRP. Feature include multi-token settlement, blockchain invoicing, one-tap checkout, and near zero fees, which again, that would benefit the pharmacy or the medical facility, not the patient. Because again, I guess the cost gets, the credit card cost gets pushed on to the patient or to the customer. But at the end of the day, healthcare is a big scam anyways. So it doesn't matter. People are just going to push on fees. But it's projected to reach 3 to 5% of the market in 5 years. I don't agree with that. Maybe in East African clinics, but not in the U.S. Not in the U.S. because our healthcare is so centralized and manipulated in such a massive Ponzi. It's not going to happen in the U.S. But they aim to onboard 20,000 providers, enabling tens of million transactions. So as far as the whole HIPAA thing goes, can we use blockchain? Can we use blockchain to improve healthcare? So I was a big believer in this when I first started because I was incredibly naive. But you're going to have to use a private blockchain, which is not part of the decentralization aspect of it, okay? It's going to have to be a private blockchain, and every single medical facility, whether it's a pharmacy, a clinic, a hospital, a doc, whatever that is, they are going to have access to that software because that's how that works. So I think that it's still incredibly too early for this idea. I think it might work in underdeveloped countries, but not necessarily in the U.S. I just don't see it happening in the U.S. And this is not a slam at the company. This is just my opinion. Because again, I did this for 7 years of my life. HIPAA is a scam though. Like Kaiser, it's so funny because like HIPAA. But when you leave Kaiser, they give you this stack of papers that you leave with not even a damn envelope. That's a freaking violation to me, but I digress. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. I like the initiative. I just don't see how, I'm just not seeing how people are going to want to deal with the whole crypto aspect. Because again, when you're sick, you're sick. just take my credit card, get me and my kid care. Let's feel better. Nobody goes into a pharmacy feeling good or into any healthcare clinic. So I like the idea, but I just don't see this happening. I just don't see it happening. And again, they highlight here East African healthcare market, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania. That I can see. The U.S., no. Africa, yes. U.S., no. But I do like the initiative. But I do have to give my honest thoughts here. Now, before we talk about Solana, I want to give a current market update. Okay, so this is what the current market is looking like. Really cute. Going here, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, AI will run healthcare, and that's a whole nother conversation. I'm actually going to do a dedicated video for you guys about what's going on with AI, because I don't like AI. I'm here to profit off of it. I'm here to make money off of it, but I don't like AI. I think it's predatory. I think it's going to ring its socialism, and it's not going to be good in a positive aspect just because of how it's being dealt with. Is what it is. It's my opinion. So taking a look at the current state of the market over here. The current state of the market. Did I pull the wrong thing? I think I did. Oh. Uh-oh. I think I pulled the wrong, oh, here we go. The wrong thing. Well, I do that sometimes because, you know, that's just what we do over here. We do cuckoo stuff because my name is Wendy and that's what I do. Why did I miss that? Oh, here it is. Anyways, before we talk about the market, let's talk about our partners over at iTrustCapital. So if you want to support me, you should support iTrustCapital. You can roll over your current IRAs and create a crypto IRA, 401k, TSP, 403b, 457, all that jazz, all the good stuff over there. Now, that being said, let's talk a little bit about this. So they offer non-IRA institutional custody accounts. That's a new product they have. Low cost, no monthly fees, buy and sell crypto, silver and gold, 24/7. People keep calling me. I don't like that. Also, too, we are partnered with them. So we've got the code up there. We've got the code down below, the link, and you get $100 if you sign up. Basically, no monthly setup fees, less than 1% transaction fees on trade, and you can trade all different supported assets in your IRA without triggering capital gains tax on every move. Again, always consult with your CPA. They also use a closed loop custody system, so your assets stay secure. Assets are fully reserved, held off company's balance sheet, and never lent out. And you can trade over 80 cryptos 24/7 plus physical metals. And they constantly add new tokens. And they also recently added STRK from Starknet, which is a ZK roll-up scaling solution. And again, US-based customer support is available if you need it, which is good. We love to see it. So thank you so much to iTrust for partnering with the O Show, everything crypto every single day. And I, just so you guys know, I do utilize an SEP for tax advantages. I'm sorry, Lawrence. But I do use SCP for tax advantages, and we're going to see how much we have to put in this year. I generally do like a decent amount because I get that money back instead of paying to the government. It's all legal, but you got to talk to your CPA about that. Anyways, back to the current market. So I was in Forbes twice yesterday, talking about the kind of what's going on in the market. It does look like we essentially found a local bottom. It could be because it's holiday weekend and everybody's just kind of chilling, whatever. But this is a daily chart. You can see we created a really super cute local bottom. I know the market sucks, man. The market sucks. And also too, if you want to use Kraken, I've got my link up there and down below. You get $25 worth of XRP if that's something interesting to you. If not, no worries. But anyways, we set a local bottom here at about $84,000, and we're running up to retest the EMA 9 here, so about $88,000. And we had a little bit of a pullback, went all the way down to $86,000. Now I'm using lower time frames because we've got a little bit of a bearish price action here. Thank you so much. And I like to kind of see what's going on with the EMAs on the shorter time frames because it makes sense. So we're able to flip the EMA 200 on the 4 hour. However, we're having a little bit of trouble sustaining. We do look a little bit toppish here, but at the same time, we do have a lot of resistance at about $88,000. And again, I don't like to trade short time frames anymore because I don't got time for that. But overall, just kind of looking at Bitcoin, what I'm anticipating to happen this week is that we are going to see, just kind of cold chilling happening, just kind of cold chilling, like everybody's going to be with their families, which you should be with your families, hanging out. You should be, and whatnot. So that'll be good. But we'll see what happens with the market. I mean, I would just chill with your families and not be doing too much. Ethereum is having trouble breaking above $2,900, which is important support resistance. Solana ran, but then we're pulling back a little bit. XRP, same thing. XRP was actually looking the strongest for a while, and it's necessarily not. Chainlink is still in the green, but having trouble flipping above the EMA 9. And Cardano, issues there. HBAR issues as well, except we did get above the EMA 9, tested the EMA 200, or is that the EMA 200? No, it's EMA 20, and we're not able to break above it. So we'll kind of see what's going to happen. But right now, we're not doing too terribly great. As far as the entire state of the crypto markets, let's see. Where are we? Where's my total over here? Oh, people are mad about Zcash because it's dumping. One of the things we talked about on the show, you guys, people are like, should we buy Zcash? Because generally everybody likes to buy assets after it pumps. And that's fine. You can do that if you're a good trader and you know how to trade these markets. But I don't like to buy things that have pumped like crazy. This thing pumped from like $50 to like $700. Like that for the people that were holding, great. But it's going to get a bit of a pullback, you know, and everything is looking a little bit bearish to me as far as price action goes. It looks like we're going to go back to 426 and kind of maybe bottom off there. We'll see. But again, is it manipulated or not? It doesn't really matter if it is or not, because crypto is an extension of the stock market, and hello. But moral of the story is you just have to be really careful, especially when there's a lot of hype about anything, even Bitcoin. So there's that. Where was I looking at total? Oh, here we go. So as far as the current state of the market goes, I know I need to wrap this up. I can't see. We're still struggling. We weren't able to flip above $3 trillion. We're at about $2.98 trillion over here. So we'll see what happens. But let's talk about, we got to give some flowers. Got to give some flowers to Solana. So spot Solana ETFs logged 20 consecutive days of net inflows since debut, which is awesome. Love to see it. Very, very good stuff. So shout out to Solana for this. And yes, I do hold Solana. Okay. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Here we go. So they had 20 straight days of net inflows since launch and 568 million in inflows since the launch, which is great. So 20 days of bullish price action, well, bullish inflows, which again doesn't always equate to positive price action because of the current state of the market. And again, ETFs are like a derivative of the actual asset. So there's that. So shout out to them. Cointelegraph, ETF flows, Bitcoin spot ETF saw 151 and outflows November 24th, while Ethereum, Solana, and XRP saw inflows of 96 million, 57 million, and 164 million, respectively. So right now, people are kind of looking at the current state of kind of what's going on as far as ETFs and those types of things, which we love to see. Absolutely love it. Now, with that being said, altcoins, people like altcoins. Told you guys a lot of people are rebalancing their portfolios and whatnot. Now, Coinbase said, what are they doing? Oh, they're doing some new stuff for altcoin traders. Coinbase Markets, 24/7 trading goes live on altcoin monthly futures. Okay. December 12th, new perpetual style futures launch. Cool. Whatever. I don't know. This isn't news to me, but happy for them. NASDAQ listed INVEX plans $212 million to fundraise for RAIN token treasury. What the hell is RAIN token? They're a biopharma company, and they were going to go ahead and do what? What? NASDAQ listed INVEX plans $212 million fundraise for RAIN token treasury. It will be the first DApp based on prediction market token. RAIN is a decentralized prediction market protocol on Arbitrum. Former Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi will join the board. They're going to use capital to buy only unlocked RAIN tokens from the market, no lockups. The firm reportedly has the option to buy another $918 million worth of RAIN at fixed price. Yeah, this would be a no for me. I'm happy for them. I hope they make money, but I'm just not really understanding what the use case is for this. But it seems bizarre, but happy for them. Novogratz, Galaxy Digital, experimenting in prediction markets. This makes sense. So they're interested in exploring providing liquidity on Polymarket and Kalashi. They would act as a market maker to improve trading activity. This checks out. This makes sense because they're, like VCs and stuff in the game. So that makes sense. The other DAT doesn't make sense to me, but I'm happy to be wrong about it. SEC clears Few Energy token in win for U.S. crypto regulatory clarity. Shout out to them. They're a Solana-based project. They sent me a DM. They're like, hey, Wendy, look at it. I was like, awesome. So I went ahead and commented. And again, it's really nice to see kind of what's going on with the no action letters and the crypto companies, because a lot of it was a bunch of BS. It's like, this is the thing. This is the thing that pisses me off about the law, okay, is that laws are created like... It's not even that. It's like people pick and choose what they want to do with the laws. And I don't like that. But that's what happens. And the SEC completely abused their power and abused the law. And that's why it was so cringy to me. Everybody was like, oh my God, we need to have Harris in office because that's like totally cool for crypto. Yeah, it would have been cool short term. Everything would have pumped and then we would have dumped. It would have gotten banned, especially in America. Because that side of the political spectrum doesn't seem to understand what an underdog is. They stopped fighting for us a long time ago, if they ever. I'm not saying the red side is even better, but literally at the end of the day, like, there's just a lot of problematic stuff. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles County, California, so I could say what I want because of all the insanity that I've witnessed firsthand here. But you know, the SEC did bad stuff. They were just attacking people for literally no damn reason, but letting legit scammers run amok. As far as PPI goes, September PPI inflation rises to 2.7% above expectations of 2.6. Core PPI fell to 2.6 below expectations of 2.7. PPI inflation remains less of a problem than the weakening labor market. So when can we collectively come together as a society and acknowledge that we're literally in a recession? America's been in a recession. We are in a recession. The job market reports are scams. The payroll reports are scams. It's all a big scam. It really is. Like, how can you see Clarity Act will pass, but it's not going to be exactly what we want because everybody in crypto, for some reason, people are so entitled. Like, again, the whole soap in the mouth thing. I got soap in the mouth as a kid growing up. I got punished for a long time. Like anytime I did anything, I got punished. And me and my mom fought about that yesterday. We're not on the best terms. We never really have been, but she's my mom. So you always respect and you respect your elders regardless of how terrible they were or whatnot or what they say. But moral of the story is, like, a lot of people, the lack of accountability is astounding to me. Like, really? But everybody seems to think that everything is going to go their way always all the time. And that's not how the world works. We will get the Clarity Act, but it's not going to be exactly what we want because that's not how the world works. I got to wrap this up soon, man. So anyways, it's a bunch of scam. Apparently, core wholesale prices rose less than expected in September. Retail sales gain. Again, more scam stuff, more inaccurate reports, more manipulation. However, excluding food and energy, the index rose. Okay, food and energy, shelter, those are the basic necessities every human needs, right? And this is why we use Bitcoin. And people could say what they want to say about Bitcoin, but it's essentially just opting out of the current predatory financial system. It's a silent protest to me, is what it is. Stock market news for November. S&P rips 1.6 higher. NASDAQ, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Just pump crypto. I am going to do a second video about this because this is really, 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 really problematic to me. This is from David Sachs. Basically, AI-related investment accounts for half of GDP growth. A reversal would risk a recession. We can't afford to go backwards. So I'm going to go off on that later because I think it's absolutely terrible what we're seeing happen, and especially with AI, because AI is essentially bringing in socialism, and no one seems to care. So I'm going to go ahead and do a second video about that for you guys. But overall, as far as like crypto goes, it's kind of like we're kind of like at a standstill with the market for the most part. Like we had the Dogecoin spot ETF that launched yesterday, the XRP ETFs, like those types of things. But we're at this point of vertical integration where it's just kind of like lagging. It's like lagging a bit, you know? And yeah, we'll see how it ends up panning out. But also to remember, I know Italic just needs to pump Ethereum, and Ethereum Foundation is finally going to be rolling out updates that are actually don't put stupid stuff in my chat. You just got blocked. Don't link other people, please. Anyways, what was I saying? I forgot. the market's going to just kind of be like flat. I feel like we might see some volatility. We might not. I don't know. But moral of the story is it's holiday weekend. You know, things are just kind of chilling and whatnot. Anyways, that was the show for today. I'm going to do a second media about the news. Do you need something? Hey, do you need something? Can you just play Sega instead? I guess. Did you drink? Hey, did you drink your chicken bone broth? Your magical elixir? I just chug it, please. Thank you. All right, you guys, sending y'all love and light. I will be back. See you guys later, but I'm going to post more about the AI thing later because I don't have time now because I got to go. Sending y'all love and light, and thank you so much for joining. Yeah, Sega is the babysitter of the day.